Today's other headlines begin in Washington, D.C., where a federal judge declined to give the Associated Press its spot back in the White House press pool for now. But District Judge Trevor McFadden, a Trump appointee, urged the government to reconsider its ban of the wire service. The AP sued 3 senior Trump aides for barring its reporters from the Oval Office, Air Force One, and other areas after the AP stood firm in using the Gulf of Mexico in its coverage, with an explanation that President Trump has moved to rename the body of water the Gulf of America. The AP says the Constitution's First Amendment prohibits the government from punishing speech. The White House argues that access to the president is a privilege, not a right. The Supreme Court today declined to hear a pair of cases from abortion opponents over their right to protest near abortion clinics. The appeals center on laws in Illinois and New Jersey, which allow for buffer zones between protesters and clinics. Anti-abortion activists say the laws violate their First Amendment rights and that such restrictions aren't necessary since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Cities say the laws help limit disturbing behavior outside of clinics. The court did not provide an explanation for declining the appeals, though conservative Justices Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas disagreed with the decision. Apple says that it will invest $500 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years. That includes funding for a new factory in Houston, Texas, that will make servers to power Apple's AI offerings, plus new commitments to film TV shows and movies for its Apple TV Plus service in the U.S. Apple will also create 20,000 jobs across the country. The company's not said how much of today's announcement is new funds and how much may have already been in the works. On Wall Street today, stocks started the week on uneven footing. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added about 30 points for a minor gain. The Nasdaq dropped more than 230 points as major tech companies came under pressure. The S&P 500 also ended lower on the day. And this Sunday's Oscar race is looking wide open after the Screen Actors Guild Awards delivered a pair of against the odds wins.
And the winner goes to Conclave.
Conclave won Best Ensemble, the equivalent of Best Picture. The thriller about the selection of a new pope beat out award season darling Anora. And Timothée Chalamet nabbed Best Actor for his portrayal of Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown, upsetting the Brutalist star Adrian Brody for the honor. Conclave's win comes as the Vatican announced nightly prayers for the ailing Pope Francis. The 88-year-old is battling a complex lung infection, though the Vatican said today that recent lab tests showed a slight improvement in his condition. The Secret Service agent who jumped onto the back of John F. Kennedy's limousine after the president was shot in 1963 has died. Clint Hill was riding on the running board of a car directly behind Kennedy's when the first shot rang out. In visuals from the scene, he is the man in the dark suit pushing a distraught Mrs. Kennedy back to her seat as she tried to crawl away. Hill received Secret Service awards and was promoted for his actions that day. But in later years, he spoke of his profound guilt over not being able to save the president. Clint Hill was 93 years old. And the music world has lost a giant. Roberta Flack, a Grammy-winning singer best known for her pop and R&B hits in the early 1970s, died today. A piano prodigy from an early age, Flack was catapulted to fame in her 30s, thanks in part to Clint Eastwood.
The first time ever I saw your face.
Her cover of The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face appeared in his 1971 movie Play Misty for Me, earning a Grammy for Record of the Year.
Killing me softly with this song, killing me softly with this.
She followed it up with Killing Me Softly in 1973, which also won the Grammy. That made her the first artist to win back-to-back Grammys for Best Record. Reflecting on her hit more than 20 years later, Flack spoke of her pride that the song endures.
And you can hear it all over the world to this day. So I'm just so grateful that a song that I'm associated with has lasted for over 2 decades.
Those 2 decades have, of course, stretched to more than 5. Flack also used her platform to sing about racial and social issues throughout her career. In 2022, the singer announced she had ALS, commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, which left her unable to perform. Roberta Flack was 88 years old. Still to come on the NewsHour, a center-right party wins Germany's elections as the far-right doubles its support. Tamara Keith and Amy Walter break down the latest political headlines. And black homeowners fear they could be priced out of their Los Angeles suburb after devastating wildfires.
This is the PBS NewsHour from the David M. Rubenstein Studio at WETA in Washington, and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.